It's time once again for the Maple Grove City Report. I'm Dave Kaiser. Thanks for joining us with Heidi Nelson, Maple Grove City Administrator. Welcome again.
Thank you.
We've got a rather short meeting to talk about. 23 minutes was the meeting on November 5th, but we have election information to talk about. We'll do that midway through the program. Let's hop to the meeting on the 5th to discuss some of the things there. Nothing from consent that was pulled.
Nope.
So there were some items that were discussed further, and the largest item and a very nice item for the city was the Transit Award. Tell us about Mike's work in that area and what went on that night.
Yeah, so this year at the annual Minnesota Transit Conference, Maple Grove was awarded the Minnesota Transit System of the Year. So that was a really nice recognition for Mike and for the transit service here in Maple Grove. I think a few things drove that award. We've been doing a lot of work in the past year on the transit system. We went through a Homeland Security safety audit, security audit of all of our systems and buses and facilities and whatnot, and so that turned out really well, and so that was kind of a nice piece this year to improve our transit services. And then as people have probably seen, the buses have a fresh look out there on the streets. We worked with Prime Advertising to update the graphics. We started with the My Ride program. I'll talk a little bit about the changes we made there as well, but then we rolled that out, that new branding out through all of the buses. So even our big commuter coaches that go downtown have, you know, starting to see that new branding come through, and so I think that's been well received by the community. With regard to the My Ride program, changed the name from Dial-A-Ride to My Ride. You can still call in, but we added an online scheduling app and then the opportunity to pay through an online kind of a token program. So just trying to make it a little more Uber-esque, a little more easier to use, appeal to a broader audience there. And I think all of those things coupled up together really kind of moved that award this year, and so very proud of the work that Mike Opatz does for our transit program here in Maple Grove, and thanks to our Transit Commission. They're kind of an integral part of reviewing the services and any improvements that we're going to make, and so really happy to receive this award this year in honor of the work that we're doing.
Congratulations to that group, and we'll mention later on in the program there's now a need for more commissioners on the Transit Commission, so we'll tell you about that in just a minute. You mentioned Prime Advertising and Design. I understand they're up for award as well with this work.
Yeah, so they submitted the new graphics and for the buses, and then they received the American Graphic Design Award this year for those new bus designs. So kind of fun to have not only our work recognized by the Transit Association here in Minnesota, but also just from a graphic design perspective, Prime receiving some recognition as well.
Congratulations to them. I'm sure the city will be getting some phone calls from other cities saying, what did you do to your buses and how can we get on this as well? So congratulations. Few short public hearings at the meeting on the 5th related to some small items with some developments. We'll give you more information. One we want to touch on is the Arbor Lakes Corporate Center. Again, just some cleanup work I understand happening there. Just when you develop a property that had other things on it, you've got some small parcels, is that right?
Yeah, just some things left over in the title work. So we're preparing on November 19th, bringing forward kind of two things on that parcel, and this is right at the corner, the northeast corner of 85th and Zachary, preparing for the redevelopment of this site. If you'll recall, it's the old Osseo dump site. It's gone through many different names, the Osseo dump, the Hilger site, the Santa Fe site, and there is dump material, waste material still out there on that site that needs to be cleaned up. So we've been working over the last couple of years with a developer to advance the redevelopment of that site. We're going to get it cleaned up. We received about $1.75 million in grants, both from the state and then Hennepin County, as well as Met Council tax-based revitalization program funds. So coupling that with, we have our new tax increment financing district out there, so we're able to use some of the increment from the project to assist with the cleanup. And so working with Inland Development Partners, and they've partnered with Opus to bring this project forward. They're going to construct about a 200,000 square foot office warehouse type project. Really nice architecture on this one. We're really pleased with what they brought forward, and so we're in the final throes of putting everything together in preparation for November 19th, but there were some old easements sitting on the title of this land, and so we're getting ready to transact that. So this is just the vacation of some of those old easements. New easements we've put in place once a new plat is approved, kind of bringing all those parcels together and cleaning everything up so they can move forward. So probably going to see some dirt moving out on that site yet this fall yet. They want to get in there and get some of that material out of there and then take advantage of some of the warmer air in the spring to dry things out. Very good. So November 19th, the next time that is discussed. Also, the next item was tabled to the 19th. That is under community development. Territorial Greens, just give us an update on how that is progressing. Yeah, so this one was before the council at their second meeting in October, received approval of the concept plan and development stage plan and rezoning on a 4-1 vote, so it was coming back for that resolution of approval. Developer asked that it be tabled. They weren't able to attend that meeting that evening, so that'll come back on November 19th to consider that final resolution of approval. Okay. So those were the discussion items from the meeting. A few updates, some informational items from community development. Sounds like they're going to be busy. Applications just keep rolling in. Give us a variety of what's coming. Yeah, we have 3 things that are kind of new coming, that'll be coming through the process. We have another self-storage facility. This one's just south of Bass Lake Road, west of 494, south of the gas station there. Passion Church has submitted an application to occupy an office building. This one's just east of 494 off of Sycamore there, just kind of north of Bass Lake Road, kind of tucked back in there. It's an existing building that they would do some remodeling to and then move into that building. And then the old IHOP site has a user that's applied for a burn boot camp location. So this is a, exercise facility, kind of like some of the other, not a full gym, but kind of a specific concept where you might buy a membership and go several times a week. So Burn Boot Camp is applied there. Very good. And then we're going to have some zoning text amendments. They're still moving through the process. They'll be coming through the Lake Quality Commission here in the next week, Planning Commission towards the end of the month, and to the City Council in December. And this really deals with vegetation removal in the shoreland or bluff districts is what we're looking to kind of create some disincentive to doing removals that aren't approved in those areas. We will keep you up to date on that. One quick note from Public Works was the construction season is ending. Yes, that means snow is coming, but at least the construction is ending. And then your update branches us into the next part of our program here to talk about some things going on in the city was the election recap. So tell us about November 6th in the city of Maple Grove. How did things go? And really, now the way elections are being handled, much before November 6th. You've got some numbers there as well. Yeah, so busy time for the city in conducting the election. And really, absentee voting has kind of changed the face of it for us in many ways. We're kind of almost like we're running an election for multiple weeks leading into the election. So we, with what we did in person at City Hall, in addition to those that were mailed in, about 9,500 people voted absentee. So that's a big number of folks that are coming in ahead of time to vote. Picks up certainly towards the end. I think on the Monday, November 5th, we did about 900 absentee ballots at City Hall. So we moved that down to our Emergency Operations Center in the lower level of the government center just to accommodate the volume. We really kind of almost just set up a polling place down there to help deal with that volume, and I think it worked out pretty well for most folks coming. We had a total turnout of about 35,800 for the election, so that was good. Our city council races, our Mayor Mark Stephenson was re-elected, as well as our council members Karen Jager and Phil Leith were both re-elected. So congratulations to them as they enter their next term of service. And we do want to say thank you to those that ran. We had PJ Agnes running for mayor, Karina Jayasuriya running for council, as well as Ray Emery running for council. Appreciate their willingness to step forward and take a run at it. And they certainly spent some time with us at City Hall, kind of getting oriented to what it is to be on the city council and kind of what their role is and what are the issues that council members deal with, and learning a bit about our structure. So a lot of time investment spent there, so we appreciate their willingness to do that. And then just the voters that came out to participate in the decisions about their government. So it's a good process, but we're happy to have the election behind us.
Yes, I can imagine that, and
yes.
probably as well are the election judges. So again, a huge group of people that make a big difference to making this go smoothly.
Absolutely, we could not pull off. Even leading up to the election, our election judges provide support during that time as well.
Great.
So we utilize some of those folks to come in and help through absentee. But the day of the election, it really rests in the hands of the election judges that help us out and on that day of election. And so we really want to extend our appreciation to that group of people as well.
So looking ahead with this shift of what you're seeing with absentee, where about, not quite, but about a third came in and voted ahead. Are there other bodies that will have to look at this and maybe consider how things are done in the future? Yeah,
there's been legislative tweaks, I think, for the last few years to this, what's really become early voting process. And if you come in early on in the absentee process, there's a pretty elaborate envelope process where things get sealed up and mailed, and there's an application. And so really early voting only happens where you're coming in and you're signing in and you're feeding your ballot into the counter about a week before the election. So I think there will be some move to maybe extend that period of time to reduce some of the administrative paperwork associated with absentee voting. It's hard. You almost you want to look at, do you shrink the number of precincts you have because you're dealing with so much volume in advance, but then you have no guarantee that in any given election it's always going to pan out that 30% of the folks are going to vote early. So I think for most cities, a lot of the discussion I hear is, we're resourcing a full election on election day, and now we're kind of resourcing an election for multiple days leading into that. And so how do we balance all of that kind of with the staff that we have? City Clerk Amy Dietl, Kim Greninger, Jamie Hansen, they're in our administration department. Those are the three that kind of pull all this off. They put in a lot of hours leading up in this last week. So great appreciation to them, but they'll be chiming in here too on this legislative process as we go forward into 2019 session, just to see if there's some tweaks that can kind of make things a little bit easier. I think if this type of change brings more people to the polls, that's a great thing. Makes an opportunity for people to participate that maybe it's a little bit of a challenge on that one day. I think everybody has an interest in making that happen. So I think there'll be discussion going into the session.
All right, more to come. Again, we'll keep you up to date on that. Other items that are happening in the city, you've got a day off coming up here. Tell us about that. Yeah,
so Monday, in honor of the Veterans Day holiday, which actually falls on Sunday, city offices will be closed on Monday, November 12th.
Very good. We mentioned earlier about the Transit Award. Now let's talk about the need for people to get involved, and this might be your opportunity. So tell us what you're looking for as far as people to help out and be a part of that commission, because you have to be a little bit involved in the transit world, as I understand it.
Yeah, so the commission members must be a Maple Grove resident and use the service on average 3 days a week. So we really want people to serve on this commission that are using the service, and they can provide us good feedback and insight into what's happening out there, on our buses and the service going into downtown. So they do meet, meet the last Tuesday of January, March, May, July, September, and November. So about, 5-6 times a year. And they're at 6:30 p.m. So it's not a huge commitment. And then you serve for about a 2-year term. Information's available on our website to apply. So we really encourage people to think about getting involved if they're a transit rider.
And there is a deadline for this, right? It's December 20th is the deadline, so you've got a little bit of time, but again, go to the city's website to find out more of how people can get involved. A really helpful group to the city. Residence Guide, time for people to do some reading, and both you can do this in print, I understand, and online. Yeah, available online, and then the print guide should be in people, I think it's already is, hopefully, I think it already is out in people's homes, but hopefully folks will find a lot of really helpful, useful information there, as well as we were able to roll out a lot of our pictures from the photo contest, and so a lot of those new photos are shown there in that new guide. So way to stay in touch with the city and some of the things that are coming up. Look to that. Winter Hazard Awareness Week. Yes, the snow came, so we have to be thinking about this. And actually, the week that we're taping this program is when this week happens.
Yes.
So it's just about to end, but there's some good points to remember here.
Yeah.
What do we need to know about hazard awareness in the winter?
Yeah, so this was an event that was done by the Department of Public Safety, Homeland Security, Emergency Management, and then the National Weather Service. So very timely to how the weather panned out this week. I'm hoping we're going to go back to a little bit of fall here before we settle in for the full winter. But so this week of November 5th to the 9th, they just shared daily topics about winter weather safety, ice storms, blizzards, snowmobile safety, fire safety, carbon monoxide, all those kinds of things. And then details can be found on the Homeland Security Emergency Management website. So just some good information about there to refresh ourselves as we enter into the winter driving season.
That is true.
Yep.
Upcoming business events. There's a lot going on with businesses all the time, and one again is happening as we tape this program, and more coming up. Tell us about the 2 new businesses.
Yeah, so a new FedEx office is opening up inside of the Walmart, so kind of a tenant inside the Walmart space. So that's a nice, convenient addition for residents and businesses. They are doing an open house today, which is Friday, November 9th, from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. So that's a new service in town. And then we have a ribbon cutting coming up next Thursday, November 15th at 4 p.m. This is for Vans Nail and Spa, and they are located in the Maple Grove Crossing Shopping Center right there along Wedgwood Lane and kind of the Cub Pier 1 run there. So welcome them to town as well.
Very good. And while we're talking about business, how about opportunities for people to learn about opening your own business? And this has been successful. There's a date coming up for this?
There is. Tuesday, November 13th, our representatives from the Open to Business program will be back at the Government Center. They're there from 10 to 1. And they provide technical assistance to prospective or current business owners about any, opening a new business or things that they're concerned about or changes they're making to their business. We do ask that you call to make an appointment so that the advisor knows that you're coming, and that number 612-843-3260. Information available on our website as well about that program.
Very good. We've been joking about the weather a few times, but here's one final note about fall weather, is that the Yardway site is still open, so if the snow goes away, you can still rake?
You still have a shot, I guess, but it seemed like after this morning you were kind of off the hook. So we'll be open up there till November 30th. So this is disposal of leaves, brush, all that kind of yard waste type thing. And then just make sure if you're Maple Grove residents, just bring some proof of your, your driver's license, proof of Maple Grove residency when you head on up there.
Very good.
A little bit of time left.
Let's hop to the community center. A lot going on there all of the time, and this is a special time of the year. Each year they try to promote coming and being a member, and they have their membership sale. Give us some of the details there.
Yeah, so community center membership sale on till just tomorrow, November 10th.
Okay.
So 15% off the regular rates, and then $10 off if you purchase it online. But all that information available at communitycenter.org.
And once the sale is done, it's still a good deal, so stop in and find out more about it.
Yes.
All building passes, pool only, pickleball, so a lot you can do up at the community center. And it's also the home for many great events that are coming up. Holiday season means a few more coming. What are some that we should put on our calendar?
So we have the Holiday Boutique Craft Sale. That's actually tomorrow, Saturday, November 10th. It's hosted by the Maple Grove Lions and then the senior volunteers. They're there from 9 to 4. This is a free event to the community, so right up at the community center that tomorrow afternoon, or tomorrow all day.
And then coming up next Thursday, the 15th of November, the Farmers Market is inside and looking busy.
Yeah, this is our first indoor market of the season. So Thursday, November 15th, the hours are 3 to 6 p.m. and that's inside the community center there, kind of out in front of the Maple Maze if you haven't been. We usually have around 20-25 vendors for those indoor markets, and they have all kinds of things, and now we'll start heading into the holiday season with more of those kinds of offerings during the market.
Very good. And if you're one that likes exercise in the city of Maple Grove and you got out this morning, it was 19 degrees and you said this is not good, we have an answer for you in Maple Grove. The dome is back up and ready for action?
The dome is back up and ready for action. So you'll see a lot of athletic teams practicing in there now. And then the indoor walking track, and information about that walking track schedule is available on the website.
Okay, and for people that haven't been there before, again, they can go to the website and find out more, because are there walking passes you can get, or types of memberships, if you will? Or?
You know, I think it's just free to the community.
Yeah, we'll have to check on that.
We'll have to check on that. I think it is, but I know there's hours that it's restricted to because of, you know, during the daytime, the school district is in there. So you really want to make sure you check the website to check on when those walking times are.
Lots of sports teams taking advantage of that. Final note we've been talking about this a few times, the Intergenerational Photo and Story Project. Again, give us a little background and tell us the people behind this project.
Yeah, so the plans are coming together for the first intergenerational photo exhibit, and so they're going to be taking the photos here in the next few days. So I think if you haven't signed up, I'm guessing it might be getting to be too late. So now it's really about waiting to kind of see the photo displays that are going to be put up. So they'll be displayed in December at the library and the community center, and then there'll be a welcome reception to kick off that whole project, and that date isn't quite firmed up yet. So the Maple Grove's 55 Forward program is doing this with the Maple Grove Library and then Vocal Photography, a local company here for this special project. Well,
there you have it. A lot going on in the city. Again, a short council meeting, but a lot of events coming up, many this week and this weekend. So get out and get involved in those. Heidi, thanks again for your time and the update. Let's leave you with some information. We've mentioned the website quite a few times. You see it right in the middle of the screen. So to find out more about that guide that's coming out with a lot of community information or some of the projects and events that are coming up, maplegrovemn.gov. Next meeting is on Monday the 19th, and we mentioned a few things that have been moved to that meeting, so it will be a rather larger meeting. 763-494-6000, the city's phone number, and 533-1710, viewer response line, questions or comments about the program. For Heidi Nelson, I'm Dave Kaiser. Thanks again for joining us.